Hey guys, Veebat here with another V Plays, taking a look at the Bristol Beaufighter. Man, this thing is kind of an odd looking aircraft, but by those who flew it, it was much loved. This airframe is essentially everything you would ever want it to be. This thing is a heavy fighter at tier 5. It has a very impressive set of armament and a lot to be offered by this airframe. It pretty much can do whatever you would like it to do. Now, I'm not saying this thing will be able to skid down at low altitude and do a turning fight with a lot of your lighter fighters, but if you needed to go and take a base by dropping some bombs on some of the targets around there, or if you needed to go after some of the airframes and take them out so that way you can flip that capture zone even faster, you have the forward firing firepower to do so, and you have the massive air-to-ground ordnance for the tier. 2 500-pound bombs and 8 rockets. In addition to that, your forward firing armament includes 4 20mm Hispano cannons and a total of 6 303 Browning machine guns. Now combine that with a fully upgraded turret, which has 4 303s that can turn 180, it's 360 degrees, but it can turn straight forward for a 180 degree field of fire when you look at it in the statistics. Allows you to have the potential of getting 14 guns on target. I am not kidding you. And just look at the torrent of fire coming out of the front of this aircraft. If you see a target you want to go away, it will go away as long as you get those guns singing and you get them on target. We dropped our munitions on what we thought were the most valuable targets, and now we're using the incredible speed for this tier to be able to dive in on this target. You can see my forward firing turrets are already making their work, are already doing their work and firing on some of these defense aircraft. It is like it has a mind of its own with a 360 degree field of fire. It really does like to help you out in any engagement you're getting into, and combine that with the fact that that rear turret has defensive fire, which means that any target he's hitting is going to increase our survivability against that target. Now, the problem with heavy fighters is that heavy fighters have a real problem making a straight vertical climb. And my light fighters, especially my light altitude fighters, are able to do this. They can nose up, hammer on the throttle, and in a lot of cases even accelerate in the climb. This aircraft has a real problem doing it, and a lot of heavies have issues with acceleration. This is going to be no different. Here's 14 guns firing on a single target, as you saw when that turret turned around. Oh, the amount of damage coming out of this aircraft is incredible. But you do have to be wary of your low climb speed, and the way you want to work a heavy fighter is you are going to climb up to the altitude you want to be operating at, which for this aircraft is around 5,000 and some change, and then you're going to hang out there until you see something you want to go after, and you're going to do what I'm doing here. You're going to nose over, tap that boost, and get yourself into a good energy state, and you're going to use that momentum to carry you through your engagement. Once you've taken out the targets you wanted to take out and nobody's chasing you, you then raise the nose up, get some more altitude, turn around, and do the same thing again to conduct those boom and zoom runs. Now, one of the unique things about a heavy fighter is that you get rewarded for taking out bombers, so we're going to spend our time trying to maintain the advantage of having 2 capture zones. Okay, that was close. Let's pull back and come back around. I'm holding down the flaps while I'm hitting the boost in order to try and make this turn a little bit faster, and we'll get these guns back on target. But by taking out these bombers, I am getting points towards my badge when it comes to flying my role. There we are, grade 5 heavy fighter badge, and if we continue to kill those bombers, we will continue to help ourselves build up. Look how quickly we took out that P-38F. I know we had some help, but once it registered all of those guns making contact, and we absolutely decimated them. Now, I am so sorry, Robot P-40, but where the heck did you come from? I just rammed an ally and lost 500 points, and it looks like it cost us some of this zone. I think about coming back around and helping out my allies take out that P-38, but they already got him. So I guess I'm back to my original role. Let's climb on up and keep hitting these bombers and see what we can do to continue to take them out. I do really appreciate this upgraded turret. I think it's one of the best turret upgrades you get in the game when it comes to a rear gunner, because this turret allows you to get a massive field of fire increase as well as a massive amount of damage output with those 4 303 machine guns. The original is just a single 303 with a very limited field of fire that comes out of what is that back window that you see on the top of the aircraft. Very, very limited. But you do sacrifice some airspeed by having such a large air restricting turret on the top of the airframe, so that is reflected in a loss of some of your top speed, but I'm okay with that. I love everything that this aircraft is. The look of it, the feel of it, the way it flies, the firepower, and then the air-to-ground armament. I mean, it's just what you want it to be. It does it very well. And at tier 5, it really can be king of the hill if you know how to fly it properly. I'm not saying you're going to outmaneuver the P-38F. He's going to have you dead to rights. You're not even going to be able to outpace him in a lot of instances. But if you play to your strengths, which is the ability to put out a lot of damage and a lot of air-to-ground ordnance, then you can help your allies out by taking out bomber flights, taking out key objectives, and just using your aircraft strengths in general. Because even a P-38F isn't going to have the same type of firepower you have available to you here in order to take out these heavy targets. Now, I let my guns overheat here, but once I let them cool down a little, those 20s do a lion's share of the work on those bombers. Yep, no more bomber flights. I wonder why. Oh, because they managed to take the command center, so I'm kind of thinking, you know what, I'm going to make a run for this command center. But there's enough bombers coming here that I know that it's going to flip on its own, so I think the best move would be for me to head back towards our original command center and see if I can take that. I do see targets of opportunity here. This is a player 109E, so I'm getting some hits on this target and helping my allies out, best of my ability. We managed to take out that plane. Here's another player in the XFL-1. He is not looking at me, letting those guns sing. Managed to take him out, trying to avoid my friendly Beaufighter to my left. And now let's get in here and do some work trying to flip this capture zone. And I was right, that command center was taken by the combination of bombers, the NBC bombers, and our teammates. This is kind of a run and gun type of a bomb move I like to do here. 4 rockets and then a single bomb in the center. When it turns gold like that, that is your best option for being able to hit everything inside of that center, inside of that particular bomb section. So you can see here we did take out that radar site with that last bomb. And now we are just trying to get out of here. I am taking a lot of fire and it just isn't enough. This is squall line, so I do lose my aircraft, but I believe that our work was worth it. We are able to keep the enemy at bay. We took out quite a few aircraft as we came into this zone. We do have our bomber flight inbound, and we maintained enough of the lead long enough in this battle that I think that we pretty much have this in hand. Now I see Frodo here. He's doing his best to try and keep these bombers from taking our one remaining site. So tough call there. That's going to be a really hard fight for him to be able to make that work. And now I have my ally here. It looks like he is trying to help out with this site, but unfortunately he gets taken out. There's that P-40 I killed earlier. Man, the XP-44 rocket, I really did enjoy this aircraft. It very much was a joy and a great introduction into the P-47 Thunderbolt line. But alright, not a bad battle. Let's hit the endgame results and see what we got. Alright, so we played to our role. We did what we were supposed to do. We were taking out bombers. We were using our air-to-ground ordnance to operate kind of like a multi-role, taking out some of the key objects, and essentially using our overwhelming speed and firepower to do what it is that a heavy is meant to do. Boom and zoom, which is a great way to describe what the Beaufighter does best. The Beaufighter's armament is fantastic. A combination of 4 20mm cannons and then 6 303 machine guns combined with a quad set of 303s and a turret that can turn 180 degrees to fire forward. I want you to do some quick math with me as we go over this. That's going to be a total of 14 possible guns firing on a single target, 4 of them being 20 millimeter Hispano cannons. This thing has firepower. Not only does it have firepower, but just look at how nasty that air-to-ground ordnance is. That's a lot of air-to-ground ordnance, and this is very much going to remain consistent as you go through each one of these aircraft as you progress all the way up to the Tier 9. So if you take a look at the Mosquito is going to retain the same air-to-ground ordnance, in fact the exact same air-to-ground ordnance. The Hornet here is going to get the option to upgrade to 1,000-pound bombs in addition to the 8 rockets, and then the Westland is going to get 8 rockets, but they're going to be these GP rockets opposed to the SAP, so you are going to have to unlock those, but then you get to carry over the 1,000-pounders. It isn't until you get to the Gloucester that you trade everything for rockets, which is really cool, and then you get to the Gloucester, and the Gloucester Javelin has none of it. So it removes all air-to-ground capability. But at least you don't need to be stuck with a choice, because it really is up to you whether or not you want to run this thing clean in order to get some more speed out of it, or if you want to run the air-to-ground ordnance. I typically opt for air-to-ground ordnance because eyes like explosions, so I usually go for those. For the other upgrade here, we mentioned that you can get this quad-barreled turret right here, but the quad-barreled turret does indeed, if you take a look at the airspeed over here, if I were to go and downgrade to the original turret, it actually gives me another 7 miles an hour to my top airspeed. Combine that with, if I were to just go nuts and demount everything, we can get up to 335 as our top speed, but we lose 12 miles an hour by upgrading to the missiles. We lose 12 miles an hour for upgrading the bombs, and we lose another 7 for upgrading to the gun for the turret, and now you're down to 304, so you lose a little over 30 miles an hour in total. But what's more important to you? Do you want all the massive firepower? Do you want the air-to-ground ordnance? I know I do, so I kept it on here and I enjoy it. The Beaufighter was a very strong and powerful aircraft when it came to War Thunder, so when I started playing this game, I said, you know what, this is going to be one of those planes that I keep in my garage. All things considered, the Beaufighter is an excellent all-around airframe. What I've gone for on the equipment is the same thing I go for on all of my heavies, which is going to be reflector sight in order to get the most boom out of my boom and zoom by making sure those guns are consistently hitting the target. I am also running engine tuning too, so that way the boost that I do have available is accelerating this aircraft properly. Bear in mind, heavy fighters are heavy by nature, which means that even though they have really good top speed, it takes them a while to get there. Compare that to some of your lighter fighter variants, and you can see that when you go into a straight vertical climb, these things have a real tough time maintaining velocity. Meanwhile, a light fighter can do that. So there's your major difference between the two. So engine tuning helps you maximize that long boost time, because that long boost time, it may get you up to a high speed, but you're going to use quite a bit of it to get to that top speed, if that makes any sense. And to aid in that would be improved aircraft polish 2. The nice thing about improved aircraft polish 2 is that this is specific to heavy fighters, that the bonus it gets is increased, and it gets a 5% boost to its maximum airspeed in addition to 25% to the acceleration during a dive. So this will aid in your acceleration issues that you had before. So you're going to build up potential energy by climbing with your aircraft, and then when it's time to accelerate and get onto a target to intercept, you're going to use the power of the improved aircraft polish in combination with your engine tuning for your boost. You're going to get up to those high air speeds, you're going to make that attack run, and then you can use your momentum to carry you through, lift you up into the air, turn around, and do it again. And that is how you heavy fighter, and the Beaufighter is just a great aircraft all around to learn how to perfect those skills. Decent altitude performance, good maneuverability, great top speed, and excellent air-to-ground ordnance, guys. I don't know what else to say. I just
Love this thing with those 4 303s in the right hand wing, 2 in the left, and then the 420s rather, mounted underneath the body. And I went with kind of this steampunk design for the paint because I thought the stamped copper looked really cool with that turret that looks very much like it's out of some type of steampunk era comic book. So, as always, guys, I'm Veebat. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead, hit that like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you liked and what you didn't like in the comments, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one.